Hey everyone, and welcome to this quick take on returns management with Logiwa IO. I'm Nate Berger, Senior Product Manager here at Logiwa. Joining me today is Eric Byun, our Director of Solutions Engineering, who works closely with 3PLs on real-world warehouse design and execution. Today we're going to go over why returns have become one of the most important and underestimated challenges for 3PLs and what scalable returns management actually looks like. Here's how we'll spend the next few minutes. First, we're going to ground ourselves in the 2025 state of returns, what's changed over the last year, and why this matters more than ever for 3PLs. Then we'll go into the true cost of a return, beyond just labor, going deeper into reputation, to brand loyalty, all the way down to your 3PL's core operations. Finally, Eric will walk through what scalable returns management looks like in practice and how high performing 3PLs are approaching this differently. Eric, you see this play out daily with customers. Let's start with the scale of the problem.
So at a high level, the volume of returns is massive and continuously growing. In 2025, total retail returns are projected to finish the year at 850 billion. And even more surprising, nearly 19% of all online sales will be returned. For 3PLs, this key shift is that volume is very, very much less predictable at this point, and returns have now become a core forecastable inventory flow and not just an exception process. And with predictability changes, also affects how we should think about returns operationally. So also digging a little deeper into the customer persona, customer expectations have moved faster than warehouse processes. Shoppers these days are expecting returns to take less than 10 minutes, and they prefer free returns. Even more important on the crediting side, they expect immediate refunds, sometimes before the item is even back at the warehouse, graded and inspected. Some of the metrics that we're seeing, with 82% of all shoppers saying a free returns policy is very important to them when it comes to online shopping. And you can see that because 50%, 57% of shoppers simply won't return after a bad returns experience, right? 72% more likely to shop with a retailer that does offer returns that don't require box or labels, that convenience aspect. And when that experience is broken, the fallout is pretty severe. I think we refer to it as the two strike rule, but almost 90% of consumers will completely abandon a brand after just two poor experiences. So, where does the operational pain start to show up? We have kind of three buckets here. We see returns physically arrive into the building, but without a good system driven workflow, your items are waiting for that inspection, the grading, and we refer to this as returns limbo. Nate, if your operator has to ask a manager, is this shirt still sellable? Your profit just evaporated. We're trying to move away from subjective decisions because returns limbo takes us into inventory ghosting. It's when our physical inventory exists in the building, but system is not marked it available to sell immediately. Your brands are missing out on sales because they don't think they have inventory, even though that unit is sitting right there. And ultimately, this leads to space congestion and labor leakage, right? Returns are inherently messy. They also eat up valuable dock and staging space. And if it's handled outside of your system or your core stack, it's definitely a lot more severe. So when we translate that, friction into dollars, it tends to add up very fast. Our industry benchmarks show that processing a return can cost up to 65% of that product's base selling price. A big chunk of that is, I'll call it the manual inefficiency costs, right? If you have a poor module to process these, 30 to 50% of that processing cost is going to go up just due to manual touches like data entry, physical tagging. And if you think about it, most manual returns take about 3 times longer, 15 minutes compared to 5 minutes with a very efficient module. means higher labor costs without generating net new revenue. And so this is where it starts affecting our margins way beyond labor.
Exactly, Eric. Slow or inconsistent returns don't just impact operations, they impact billing and client relationships. If your process is slow, it's difficult to justify premium return fees and clients start disputing charges. At the same time, inventory sitting in quarantine racks adds up in storage costs that brands will often push back on. This is where returns quietly turns into a multidimensional margin leak.
Yeah, I love to coin this as that ripple effect. It's a chain
Exactly.
reaction. Starts with that poor module, it's slow, manual, opaque, and then you slowly see that operational friction build up. You have refund delays, terrible visibility, and the dreaded "Did you get it?" emails. Overall, it's going to lead to a poor consumer experience that hurts the brand. And eventually that'll show up as client churn for the 3PL.
So, Eric, it sounds like by the time a contract is at risk, the damage usually started weeks earlier on the dock floor. But it sounds like we have some good news. This is solvable. The 3PLs winning here today aren't trying to reduce returns, they're systematically improving them. So, Eric, let's talk about what that looks like in practice.
All right. So at a high level, scalable returns management means standardizing the physical process, right? Our scan, grade, sort, while also being able to flex and keep client specific logic configurable in the system. You want to standardize your physical processes on the floor, but also allow for custom return reason codes and different inventory disposition grades from client to client. And your system should run these automated checks like serial number matching, just to prevent the increase in fraud that we see with returns going up as well. Ultimately, the idea is to solve this ghosting challenge we mentioned earlier. So a good system should instantly convert returns into active inventory. Having logic-driven disposition that translates a customer return reason to a certain damage reason code allows you to quickly move items from received to available or unavailable in seconds and not days, right? And by doing this so quickly, you're also able to surface real-time visibility directly back to the brands. I said it before, I'll say it again. Goal here is to stop the "Did you get it?" emails, stop the threads, and give your brands access to a real-time portal. Your brand should be able to log in and see different status updates, the results of grading, and even photos taken instantly. And finally, just as importantly, every billable action should be tracked automatically. So returns become a defined service offering instead of a conventional cost sink. We need to stop leaking revenue, and a good module allows you to automatically track and bill for additional value-added services you might perform, like ironing, rebagging, and disposal.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. Nobody likes those "did you get it" emails or those getting ghosted on your inventory and not knowing where your things are. So I think through Logiwa IO and scaling returns here, we really make an impact on our 3PLs. So to wrap it up, leave it with three key takeaways here. First, manual returns are riskier than ever before. Operationally, reputationally, and financially, a slow return process can impact your bottom line and your customer base. Second, clear real-time visibility is the new baseline for client trust and retention. Having that inventory be in stock and ready to sell, and having your customers know that is a competitive differentiator. And third, structured returns can shift from a cost center to a revenue stream. Returns is traditionally extra work, must do, value added services, but by making this systematically, you can turn this into a revenue generating form and really cut down on that margin leak. Thank you so much for joining our quick take today. We are here to help you fulfill brilliantly and grow faster with Logiwa. If you want to see any of this in action, please visit us at logiwa.com, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks, everyone.